World Primary Immunodeficiency Week approaches. Laurel Sherwin, a senior immunology clinical nurse educator with Octapharma, and Susan Scarborough, a patient living with PI, are working to raise awareness about the millions among us living at great risk of severe infection. And to join us to tell us more of how one simple act can help those with PI fight for their lives, they join us live from Octapharma Plaza headquarters in Charlotte. Good morning. So Susan, tell us a little bit about your story. You know, you received treatment for multiple conditions and tell us what PI really is.
Sure. So PI, primary immune deficiency, is basically when your body stops making the antibodies that are needed to fight any type of infection, whether it's bacterial, viral, fungal. And what happens is that when you don't have those antibodies, then you tend to get sick a lot. And when you do get sick, you get very seriously sick. So for me, I went through a journey that I was sick for a good 10, 15 years. And then we finally started looking into why, that it wasn't just my bad luck. And it took another 10 years for me to be diagnosed. So unfortunately, when you go for such a long time, you do find out other things that are wrong with you. And so I have multiple conditions that affect my brain and my lungs and my immune system, as well as my joints. So I take 6 different therapies that have to do with needles, but the one that's the most important for me is, in fact, the IVIG. That is the immunoglobulin. And immunoglobulin is derived from human plasma. It can't be made. It has to come. It's got to be God-given from a human. And what happens is I'm kind of like a car. I need to gas up. I fill myself up with other people's antibodies. I'm able to live a pretty normal life. And then I run low again. And so then I have to fill myself back up again.
That is quite the journey. Wow, 25 years in the making. I'm telling you, you look fantastic. I thank you for joining us this morning. That is a really amazing story. All right, so Laurel, how did you discover your own health struggles while, helping patients?
Well, I had a period of sickness as well. That was my infections were increasing in frequency and becoming more complex, I would say. And I ended up with granulomatous mastitis. So I could barely work. I was really depleted physically, mentally, emotionally as well. I had a job at the time where I was a director of clinical operations, and I was for nurses that were providing the IVIG for the patients in their home. And through that process, I looked at some of their charts and I was like, wow, this kind of sounds like me. Because all this time, they did not have an understanding of what my root cause was for my illness as well. And I was fortunate enough to have a great immunologist in the area, and I was diagnosed and then also received the immunoglobulin, the IVIG.
All right, so plasma is at the heart of all this, right? So, like you were saying before, Susan, that this can't be done without like human plasma, right? And so, tell us a little bit about the plasma donation process.
Okay, so the plasma donation process would be the person would come to a plasma center. They would need to have identification, address, social security card as well. The first visit is approximately about 2 hours. I would say it's a pretty thorough questionnaire, the health questionnaire, and as well as a physical exam to make sure the donor is healthy. And then after that, they would receive, they could do donations, would take probably about an hour, I would say. They're able to donate twice a week with 48 hours in between. In between that time, the body does have a great way of just recouping the lost plasma there within that time frame.
That sounds impressive. Okay, Susan, what's your message to people to encourage them to donate their plasma?
Well, when you donate plasma, yes, you do get compensated, but there's so much more to it because you actually are giving a life. Without plasma, during those 25 years, I knocked on death's door 4 times. And now with plasma therapy, I'm able to live my life. I'm able to be the wife and the mom and the friend and the daughter that I've always was before I got sick. And so those are positive ripples that the person donates the plasma, I receive it, but then there's ripples so much more beyond that from the people that I am able to love and affect positively as well. It's life-giving, and without it, I would not be alive today.
That's an amazing story. I really encourage everybody to go out and donate plasma. it's beautiful to see you sit here and to be so happy and to be so chipper and so full of life, considering the 25-year journey that you have gone through. The both of you have really been put through the ringer, and you both look amazing, and you both have this amazing attitude. So I'm really, really impressed, and I encourage you guys to folks at home to donate. And so let me ask you before I leave, where can folks go to donate plasma or to to support in general?
Sure. If you're interested in more information regarding plasma donation, you can go to octapharmaplasma.com. It'll go through the process and also identify locations in which you can donate. Additionally, there's the Immunodeficiency Foundation.
The Immunodeficiency Foundation is a nonprofit that helps support people like me as well as their caregivers and their family. And there's actually an assessment tool on there that if you think this kind of sounds familiar by being sick over and over again, and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, it may be worth your while to look into. And that website is primaryimmune.org.
Fantastic. Ladies, thank you so very much for taking some of your time with us this morning. We really do appreciate it. And folks, if you want to catch this segment again, just head over to First Coast News Plus.